Hey guys, welcome back. So on this video we're going to be doing some more upgrades to Luxy. Now, not sure if anyone's been watching our Instagram, but last weekend I got down to finally getting around to painting the Hilux. It's only been, what, 7 months, so what we ended up going for was a raptor liner. Alright, so painted the whole car, even the canopy. Alright, rear bar and front bar's coming, but for now I'm gonna have to wait a little bit for that one because I need to take it to the workshop to pull the bar work off. But in this video we're going to go through and install a bit of kit. So I went down to ARB. I've got a bit more coming after this, but I'm going to go ahead and install a newish brushless air compressor, so the new version. The idea is we're going to mount it in the side of the wing here and have it pop out here. Alright, so I'm going to get started by taking these wings off and then have a look in there and see where we're going to locate it. Alright, so it's a new model, brushless. Alright, a little bit smaller than the old one. Mounts up a little bit differently too. So you used to do a fair bit of these installs when I was working in the workshop, but that goes in there like that. And you just push down the clamp, but easiest way, you just secure it. Alright, and then you mount the compressor on top of the bracket and then just locks in place. So we've got switch, pressure, shut off there, and wiring harness. Pretty straightforward. Some of this we're not going to be using because we're not going to be using lockers or anything like air lockers on this, but it all comes in that kit. Just have to isolate the wires that we're not going to be using. Alrighty, so that's your output thread there on the compressor. Alright, and then what we're going to be doing is going to be running some braided hose from the compressor to in this kit here. Output just here, so that's going to live just there. And the switch is going to be, it's going to sit there, and the switch is going to sit there. So the bracket there, maybe run the switch to the top. Right, so turn that around, and you get outputs there, switches there. So that'll live on that bracket. So yeah, now that we've got everything out, we're gonna rip off these wings, find a good spot for it. It's gonna be a bit painful with this one, but find a good spot and secure it. Now, what you're not gonna see is the install, because stupidly, I accidentally deleted the footage. It's pretty straightforward for that one. Alright, so we ended up running wiring up to the negative and positive there. Alright, so usually it runs off an ignition. We've got the mini fuse there. We're going to change that out for an OEX. That mini fuse holder comes with the kit. We're going to swap that one out for another OEX. Alright, so we've got the positive running down, and that runs under into here. And then the ignition is tapped into the same OEX bus bar, because we're not going to be running it off the main battery, we're running it off the auxiliary battery. Alright. Yes, there are some downsides to doing that, but the way I figure it, if I don't want to have the vehicle running when I'm pumping up the tyres, I don't have to. And lithium's got 300 amp hours, so it's more than enough power. So yeah, all the electrical cabling runs in there. Alright, comes up into the wiring harness, so I do have to tidy up the harness. But as you can see, we've got like the switching that we didn't use, as well as the air locker connections there as well. The braided hose going from there. Now I have got the long one, and there is a little bit more coming along for this one, but at the moment it just loops around and then fits into the back of the outlet there. All right, so the little blue light's always on because it's always ignition triggered, but turn it on, it primes itself. A little bit of a leak at the moment because I've got to Teflon tape it, but so I'm going to take that fitting off again, Teflon tape it, take the other end of the braided hose, Teflon tape it to the actual compressor. But what we decided to go for, which we have room in here to put it, is an air tank. All right, so we're going to go the air tank in underneath this wing that's going to fully seal off, and then that way nothing else is going to be in there. And the plan is eventually this hose here is going to connect up to the tank, and from the tank it's going to go to there. We're going to run a shorter lead from air compressor to the tank. All right, so there's a shorter, I think it's a 1/2 meter hose, whereas this one's a meter. It's going to run a 1/2 meter hose here to the air tank. All right, from the compressor, this meter long one's going to go to the compressor and stay to that fitting there. So that's going to tie off that bit. But figured, because we've got this big trip coming up and Hilux is getting pretty heavy, went out and got something else. Now, been talking about doing this for a while, but what we ended up going for was a GBM upgrade. So we ended up going, seeing the boys down at ARB again. We got the 600 kilo constants, which we need for the GBM upgrade, greasable shackles for the leaf springs, new bushes, new rear shocks. All right, we end up going for what is it in the end? It ends up being they're customizable. They're got on the actual shock itself, it's got levels as to what accessories you've got on there. All right, and we got the 4-bar winch accessories. All right, so we're going to load that up to what it's specified to, but we're going with the nitro charger shocks that's the rear ones, and then the front shocks. So we'll have to assemble them, then put springs on, and then reuse the top hats for that. So yeah, and then we end up getting new bushes as well for the front shocks. But I end up going and getting diff breather kit. Now, worked out we can run that as a 4-way breather, which is good. So we'll end up running as a 4-way breather, but you just mount it sideways instead of mounting it straight up and down. You just got to get a couple more push fittings, but otherwise it's been an expensive side. But you know, joys living in the Northern Territory. We don't actually need engineer certificates, and that kit is actually signed off by our transport department in the Northern Territory as a post-rego GBM upgrade. So yeah, lucky there. But yeah, thankfully we just get, after we do the install, I'm actually a accessory fitter as well, so luckily there I just do the install, take it back to ARB, they're going to sign off on it. Now, a suggestion would be when you get it installed by a mechanic, just to be safe. Not saying that they won't sign off on it, but at the end of the day, it's a lot of money. So you want to make sure that it's, 100%. So yeah, that's where we're at with that. Now, I reckon I'll leave it there. It's a little bit short on the compressor side, but got some more fittings and stuff coming for that. They're on order. So not going to get a chance to do that at the moment, but yeah. So that's where we're at. Big things coming in the next couple of months. So prepping for that. It's going to be, I'd love to say it's a once in a lifetime trip, but we do plan to do this a fair bit. And being so close to Alice Springs, it's really easy to do so. Not a lot of people out there from time to time. So yeah. Thanks for watching. There's plenty more updates coming. Just small videos. Just the long ones tend not to get so many views at the moment, but we'll save the long ones for the trip when we do it. So Yeah, hit that like, subscribe, keep up to date with what's going on. Leave us a comment. What do you think of what's gone on so far? Because at the end of it, like, it's getting pretty pricey. I think by the time we had the repairs done after it was stolen and all the, you know, mods and additionals and all that stuff, I'm pushing. She's pushing up around about 65,000. And we only paid about 40 for it, so it does get there pretty quick, especially when you're doing canopy setup. So yeah, thanks guys.